Good afternoon, everybody. I've been debating as to whether or not I want to talk about this or not, but it's something that just kind of gets under my crow a little bit. And, I think it's a real touchy subject because, whenever it comes to our family and our children, to be more specific, people have a tendency to be, very protective, and sometimes they get offended very easily. But I've come to believe that, the children of today's society are next level. And what I mean by that is, there's so many things that they do that we didn't do when we were kids, and I think it's got a lot to do with the fact that, us adults and, the parents, we've coddled these children too much, and we've babied them, and, we give them everything that they ask for. And they're spoiled. And I hate to say that, but it's something that I've noticed. And I seen a child in a stroller the other day with a iPad, and to me, that's just, crazy. And this child was playing a game on this iPad. And hey, kudos to the child, because it's, obviously it takes a lot of smarts to learn how to play this game, but the child couldn't have been more than 2 or 3 years old. So I mean, like I said, that definitely shows a lot of intellect, but come on now. Are we that busy, and that out of touch, that we've got to give our children electronics and an iPad, to keep them busy? I mean, come on now. And don't get me started on these telephones, that the children have. I understand, that, we need to get a hold of our children, but most of the time they're at school, and, if I can't get a hold of my child whenever they're at school, then something's wrong, and I just think that, we've really overdone it with these children, and something else that I kind of noticed about the younger generation, is they're very, I don't know what the word is, but I'm going to use a word that I'm very grungy and dingy with their clothing, and, I understand, that, there's certain styles, and, with the jeans, being ragged, but, I seen a child the other day, and this was in a atmosphere where, you would think that the child would at least want to wear something decent, but I mean, they were wearing a pair of old nasty ass jeans, and the knees were just completely gone out of these jeans, and they were just ripped all to pieces there where the knees were. And I'm sorry, but I would not let my child wear something like that, And then, they wear these, they take something, and they take these jeans and they make them into shorty shorts, and then they wear boxers underneath them. And, it don't look good. They think it looks good, but it don't look good, people, and, and then, you get them to where they're just, I'm sorry, but I myself, I cannot visualize myself allowing my child to wear some of the clothes that parents are letting their children wear. And I'm going to use the word risque, and say that I have seen a lot of clothing that these young children are wearing that is very risque. And I just, I look at that and I think to myself, where is this parent's mind at whenever they allow the child to wear this? Because I cannot see myself allowing my child to wear something like that. I just can't. And I I don't know what's going on, people, but I do know that we're in trouble. And if things keep going like they're going, we're going to be in big trouble whenever the generation that we've got going on starts becoming the leaders of their time. But anyhow, I guess I've said enough about that. That's just my rant for the day. So y'all have a good evening. God bless.